Hi, welcome to the first lesson of Unreal course. So we're going to talk a little more things about performance profiling in Unreal Engine. In this lesson, we're going to focus on understanding frame time and frame rate. In order to follow this course and talk about performance in Unreal Engine, you need to understand these two numbers really well. Alright, let's get started. In this course, we are going to use a demo app. So you can download this demo app from the GitHub and start playing with that. For this lesson, you really don't need this demo, but you can use any of your existing Unreal Engine game or an app. Alright, then the next thing is how to launch an application for the performance profile. So ideally, you click this launch button and run your game in the launch mode. So basically we are trying out as an actual game. So it's quite important to do that and try to click the launch button. It will take quite a few minutes to get everything ready and start launching. But after you have done the first thing, it will be quite fast. And the next thing is try to profile your game using the same resolution, or you have some target resolution, just go with that all the time. That's quite important. The launch mode takes some quite time to load, and sometimes we really don't want to wait until that. In that case, you can use the standalone mode when you are playing. Here, standalone mode, and you can use this one if you like, but ideally you should use the launch mode. So now we are looking at how to run some commands on this mode. So you have to press the tilde key and you will see a console like this. And if you don't know about what the tilde key means, that's this key. Just press this key on your keyboard and you are good to go, right? Then if you can press that again, and it will have a large screen like this. Then if I hit again, it's gone. So I'm gonna hit this and I'm gonna type two commands, and those two commands are really important. Stat, first one is the frame rate, another one is the frame time. And we're gonna talk about these two numbers in a moment. And the other command is stat unit. Right, now here we have a few more numbers. One is called frame, that's the frame time. And there are three more numbers: game, draw, and GPU. And I'm going to talk about these three numbers right now. In Unreal Engine and most other game engines, there are three main threads running in parallel. So one is called game. The game is run all the AIs and all the game logic, animation and everything. It happens on the CPU. And then after that, it will pass that frame into the draw thread. And inside the draw thread, it will try to see which part of the view is to render and do some calculation. Then it passes that frame to the GPU, and GPU runs that frame. And you can see there's a sequence like this. First game, draw, and GPU. And the frame time is the maximum of all of these three. So in this case, all these frames runs at 10 milliseconds. So then frame time is just 10 milliseconds. So in the second frame, so you can see the game thread just spent 10 milliseconds, but the draw thread spent 20 milliseconds. In that time, GPUs, there's a 10 millisecond gap. GPU cannot do anything. So that's 20 milliseconds is our frame time. In this case, the draw thread is the bottleneck. So that's why we should have a look at these three numbers. So then we can identify which part of my thread is the bottleneck. So as you can see here, my game thread is just 1 millisecond because we don't have any game logic over here. It's expected. And you can see my draw threads are almost exactly the same. So in this case, my bottleneck is both GPU and the draw thread. And the draw thread is on the CPU as well as the game thread. The next thing is to understand the relationship between the frame time and the frame rate. In a single second, there are 1000 milliseconds. Then if one frame took around 4 milliseconds to render, so then we have a 250 frames per second. So you can see there's a curve. So here when we are starting with the lowest frame time, so you can see we have more frame rates, but then it will gradually decrease and like that. So this curve is really important. So let's imagine your application has something around 30 frames a second, something around like that. And then your millisecond count would be somewhere here. And then if you need to go to 100 frames a second, you can see you need to reduce a lot of frame time. For example, something around 40 milliseconds. And then if you are in the 100 frames per second range, and then if you need to go back to 200 frames per second, for example, then you need to decrease only just a small amount of milliseconds only. It goes with the other way as well. So let's say you are running at 150 frames per second. Then if you add around 2 milliseconds of frame time, then it will drop the frame rate dramatically. So then it's really important to have a look at these two numbers, frame rate and the frame time. I know it could be confusing. Just have a look at this graph for a moment and try to understand what I was saying. Alright, I think now you have a clear understanding of the frame rate and the frame time, and also these three numbers like game, draw and GPU. Alright, see you soon in the next lesson. Bye.